Yeah, so our campaign is safescreens.org, and it's a separate website actually, because predominantly because we wanted to host it away from the COVID stuff, although it is, I think it is one legacy, actually, back to your very first question. It's a legacy of the pandemic and school closures that we attempted as a society to move children's lives onto screens. And unfortunately, we were quite successful. So, I think many horrible statistics on this. And, it's in a way, it's awful to distill it down to statistics, but 91% of our 11-year-olds own a smartphone, and now, according to Ofcom figures, they spend over 4 hours a day on that device. And, what are we trying to do? We're trying to stop that. Why are we trying to do that? Because you are just not going to convince me that, or any of us as parents, that a future where our kids are spending so much time peering into these tiny little screens and away from learning, books, friends, football, cricket, whatever it is, away from life, away from childhood. That just can't be right. And, we're seeing the impact of that, of course, in children's physical and mental health. And I think, the other thing about this is I think we're seeing it in terms of impact on our society. Like, we are becoming a zombie nation. I mean, even just walking here down from Victoria, I was, as I always am whenever I'm in London, just sort of shocked at how many people are just, walk with their phones like this. And it's, it's not just our kids, is it? But I think the going back to the ethics of it, I think the argument is clearer with children because the phone companies really are monetizing our children's childhood, and that's just wrong. The kids don't stand to gain from this. The kids are becoming unhealthier and unhappier with every passing month, and the tech companies are getting richer and bolder. And what the campaign calls for is effectively tobacco-style regulation of smartphones. Various reasons why we've hit on smartphones, not just social media, but the key thing would be that, unless the phone can be shown to be safe for children, it should not be supplied to them. And that should not be a controversial, proposition. Like, generally, we don't give our kids dangerous products, and the smartphone in its current format is dangerous. It is addictive by design, and it contains a whole load of apps which, in themselves are problematic. So social media obviously gets most of the attention here, but also all the gamification apps. And I think what we're not saying, the campaign's been a bit misrepresented, and bits of the press. What we're not saying is kids can never have phones. Clearly, kids can have phones. Ideally, and this would be a message to Nokia or a phone company. There is such a gap in the market here for a product that isn't a brick phone. So it's a little bit more than a brick phone, but a lot less than a smartphone. So why can't we have a phone that has the ability to text, to call, that has GPRS, maybe very limited app functionality, train timetables, banking apps? I think we could all agree that would be okay for kids and probably quite helpful. But the product in its current form is not helpful, it's dangerous, and we're saying, whilst it's dangerous, it needs to be taken off the market for kids. And actually for adults, let's slap big warning signs on it. Let's not call it a smartphone, let's call it what it is, a dangerous device that should come with a health warning for us as much as our children.